Revolutionary greetings, comrades. We are discussing the May 29 elections in South Africa. The ENCA has published a poll some just few days ago. If one looks into this poll and the sentiments out there on social media, be it X space, one will conclude that political parties, that is to say, that are anti-migrant or that are expressing strong anti-migrant sentiments, you will know the popular slogan, Abahambe, they will not win the vote. This poll, if one studies it closely, it tells you that the election is not going to be lost or won on the attitude of a political party towards African migrants in South Africa. There are many factors that will determine the outcome of an election. Key to that is the economy. Of course, others want to link the economy to the presence of migrants. So a political party that uses migration as its key campaign, it appears based on this poll that the South African voters are not really moved. Only a few are moved by that. This poll says, of course, I've been in the political campaign myself in Zimbabwe. Since 2000, I've been campaigning for the MTC. I resigned in the MTC in 2017. So I've participated in electoral campaigns in Zimbabwe for 17 years. While, of course, the polls might not be accurate, but in most cases, they do reflect the sentiments of the public. It does not mean that if a poll is published, for instance, is now this is March, some 2 months before an election. So a political party that then studies this poll and changes its campaign strategy, by the time it gets to an election, it would appeal more to the people as opposed to what is expressed in this poll. What am I saying? The poll is not an outcome of an election. It's a prediction. It's based on the scientific investigation or a scientific study. So if a political party understands that we are missing, our message is not getting to the voters, the political party will quickly change the message to adjust so that it becomes relevant and they win over those that we always say are on the fence, because they are voters who only decide who they want to vote for when they are casting their vote. Currently, some voters, they are on the fence. They are not sure who to vote for. So a political party then it targets those, after an opinion poll of this nature, targets those that are on the fence. They come up with a message tailored to meet the expectations of those that are sitting on the fence, so that they will then fall on their side. Because if you are on the fence, you can fall either way. So you are trying to bring them closer to you. So the ENCA poll says the African National Congress, ANC, is to win 41% if an election will happen. Like I'm saying, it does not mean that on 29 May the ANC will win 41%. It's not a result of an election. It's a prediction based on a study. So it says it will win 41%. So the ANC can work and get the other 9%, hit 50% or even above. So I know that the ANC and any other political party will study this pool seriously, and they say, based on this scientific study, where are we missing it? Then they will correct that. It then says DA will win 20%. EFF will win 16%. MK will win 11%. IFP will win 4%. Action SA will win 1%. Now, let's get this. In 2022, at the elective conference, the ANC resolved to overhaul its immigration laws in response to what is being expressed in its branches, in public, and indeed a white paper is out there for public comments. This poll does not reflect that overhauling the Immigration, Citizenship, or Refugees Act will contribute much to the electoral success of the ANC. It doesn't really reflect that. Because for the ANC to drop below 50%, it presents a serious challenge. So it does. If one goes by this pool, the focus to overhaul the Immigration, Citizenship, Refugees Act, it does not necessarily contribute to its electoral success. The reasons being, you have many Africans living in South Africa who are now neutralized citizens, who are beginning to question the Pan-Africanist nature of the African National Congress, who in previous polls, because they are South Africans, they are now neutralized South Africans, over the years would have campaigned and voted for the ANC, but who are now on the fence, so to speak, who are now on the fence, who might not vote for the ANC based on that, because some are beginning to question the Pan-Africanist agenda of the African National Congress. I might point out, though, that the ANC stance on Israel has made again a significant shift to these Africans that are neutralized citizens, because the majority of these are pro-Palestine. So they are now on the fence to say, wait a minute, the ANC has taken a bold step. And I know, because I work in the African Diaspora Forum, so we interact with these comrades. They are now on the fence to say, maybe we can vote for the ANC. I'm talking of neutralized citizens of African origin who live in South Africa. So this is why I'm saying the pool is not an outcome of an election results. It's a prediction. There are many factors that contribute to other voters sitting on the fence. The example that I've just given, that because of the stance of the ANC towards Israel and its defense, its practical solidarity with the people of Palestine, is making those neutralized citizens of African origin who had given up on the ANC because they thought the ANC is no longer pan-Africanist in character. They are now sitting on the fence to say, does the ANC now understands solidarity, internationalism, and pan-Africanism, which has been the hallmark of the African National Congress. So you are likely to see these voters who are of African origin, who are neutralized citizens, voting for the African National Congress. The DA, is not growing, is not going down. It seems to be kind of maintaining its a white constituency, so to speak, right? While it has issues with the borders and so forth, but it does not come across as anti-migrants, the Democratic Alliance, and the one would understand because the employers are funders of the Democratic Alliance. Then you have EFF, which we know is positioned on African migrants. Comrade Julius Malema talks of removing the borders. It sits at 16% based on this prediction. MK Party speaks of the other day, Comrade President Zuma was saying, you need to know who is in South Africa. So if one listens to his message, clearly was saying, let's document everyone so that we know who is in South Africa. It did not come across as anti-migrants, as it were. But of course, in some of their, when it started, some of their leaders were expressing these anti-migrant sentiments. But when he then spoke, it kind of settled a lot of people. The IFP, which is more of a regional party in KZN, sits at 4%. We listened to the president when they were launching the president of the IFP, when they were launching the manifesto with the anti-migrant rhetoric. It puts them at 4%. And we all know that Action SA and the others who are anti-migrant, borrowing from Donald Trump, sitting at a percentage, according to this prediction. So in conclusion, based on this poll survey by ENCA, migration might not be what South African voters are looking for in terms of resolving. There are other pertinent issues as opposed to migrants in South Africa. But all parties and all of us who are saying every person that is in South Africa must be accounted for, right? You do not want to have people in a country who are unknown. Someone commits a crime, they are not known, their fingerprints are not in the system. And as the African Diaspora Forum, we are saying the country must account for every person that is in the Republic of South Africa. Every person must come through the normal way, that is to say, legal routes to come to South Africa. Every person must be accounted for, right? So those that are anti-migrants, who their daily message is the slogan, abahambi, abahambi, they are not really, based on this opinion poll, they are not really appealing to the mass of the people, because the people, one would predict that they are saying, yes, abahambi, once they are gone, how do you then address these challenges that the country is faced with? Please share your views right in the comment section, like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you're on TikTok, please do follow us. Otherwise, Amandla.